We're live. I gotta reorientate that. All right. Here we are.
Coffee.
We are in a cockpit.
We are in a cockpit.
We are drinking coffee.
For Cockpit Coffee.
So, in case you haven't guessed it, this is Cockpit Coffee. If you're new to the channel, because we have a shitload of people new to the channel that might come over, welcome. Thank you for following us. Most of you followed us from a video we did talking about a storm that took off our swim platform. Little teaser reel we did that just all of a sudden gained a ton of traction, and nobody talked about what actually happened.
Yeah, and
everybody talked about our winch handle.
Yeah, very few. Sorry, I'm congested this morning. Very few people actually asked us or said anything about the storm or the boat. Everyone was just fixated on the fact that we had a winch handle in the winch, which we were using like moments beforehand. By the way, it's like
no, I leave it in there. I'm not
we do.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
but I was using it.
Yeah, I leave the winch handle. The winch handle's been in there for 5 years. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't hurt any. All these people say, "Oh, you're gonna break a rib." I'm like, how?
Well, I'll tell you what. Have you lived on board for 5 years? We have, and it's never been a problem. And they're locking winch handles.
So it's friggin' hilarious. So everybody was whining about that. And
yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Some people are rude, but some people are going to be rude. Some people are just teasing. But
and then you had the people that were like, well, you shouldn't have gone out in that weather. We didn't go. We left the day before that in what was supposed to be a really great weather window.
Also we were going out for 4 days. And
we were like, what, 70 miles offshore? It's like,
we're 70 miles offshore, and we only ended up staying out 2 days because of the storms. But
and if you know anything about
sailing.
Florida, Georgia kind of weather, it can turn on a dime.
It was kind of funny just because, and a lot of these people, it's like they think, well, I've been sailing for 20 years, so we've been sailing every 20 years for every other weekend for 3 months out of the year.
Or like us in Maine. I mean, we sailed for, like probably 15 years in Maine before we took off living on the boat full time, but it's Maine, so there's like 6-7 months out of the year you can't sail.
Yeah, that's when people ask us how long we've been sailing. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's like it's seasonal up here.
Right, just 15 years, but 3 or 4 months each year.
Yeah, 115 now.
And well, I said that before we moved aboard, about 15 years before we moved aboard. But yeah, it's a little different.
Let's see who's on.
I was hoping we'd be able to pipe the Hambies in, but I haven't heard back from them. They're probably doing Father's Day.
I didn't know we were doing that, so I didn't set it up that way.
Well, that's okay.
That's
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there that is celebrating Father's Day. Happy birthday, man. Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I know, I misspoke. It happened.
Okay, let's see if I can find us.
And we are on our wonderful friend Neil's boat in Bangor, Maine.
Yeah.
It's the only sailboat around here, and it just happens to be the same sailboat that we went out on the very first time.
Not the same sailboat.
Oh, you're right. It had a different one.
Same kind of sailboat.
Same kind of sailboat. It was Neil's sailboat that we went out on.
It was Neil's. That's true.
Thank you for validating me. We went out on Neil's sailboat for the first time and absolutely fell in love with it and wound up getting a sailboat of our own.
Bill Davis is on. Hey, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. And that probably means Val's on too. Good morning, Val.
Yeah. And there's more people jumping on. Good.
Cool. Awesome.
Let's see if my actual post went through as far as. Yep.
We're slowly getting acclimated to the Maine weather. I mean, you know, I think as many years as we lived up here would be acclimated, but it was pretty cold when we first got up here. It's getting a little bit warmer now, so I think it's supposed to hit like 72 today.
2 more followers since we
Went live?
started picking.
Rockin'. So if you don't know us, we are the Sail Bums, and we live aboard our sailboat, a 37-foot Endeavor that's currently down in North Carolina, but we are up in Maine because we booked a bunch of gigs up here because we're full-time musicians and we travel doing music everywhere.
And this is not a 37-foot Endeavor. This is a 30-foot Catalina, which
It's a great boat.
is a. I mean, if you're looking for a coastal cruiser, something to go out on for a couple weeks during the year or on the weekends, or if you're like a single guy who wants to live aboard cheaply, this is the boat.
This is the boat.
This is the fucking boat, because I mean, it's got this guy. We were just down in the cabin. We're like, this has almost as much room as our boat.
And our boat's almost 10 feet longer. But the inside actual living space is the V berth is a lot smaller. That's where you get compromised.
Everything's a little bit. The head's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, the head is a little. Yeah, it's very congested when you go in there compared to ours.
The salon is a little bit smaller, but ours is huge, and this is huge. It's got a quarter berth that goes underneath here. I don't even know how they do that.
But for the size boat, it's got great room, and for a single person living on board,
oh man,
this boat is just perfect.
And we know a bunch of people that have owned this boat. Not this boat,
but this model.
The Catalina 30s. And we had a Catalina 22 for a while.
Which was a great boat.
Yeah. And, Catalinas have their issues, that's for sure. But the thing is, their issues are well documented. You know what to look for, and you know what to expect. And you can get on their website, catalinadirect.com, and just order the shit and not have to. Like, I replaced our standing rigging on our Catalina. I literally just ordered it. It came in the mail and I put it on. There was no getting a rigger to, measure things. And
I gotta find a welder that'll cut this down by 3 inches, and then it's that part of it is awfully nice.
Oh, get us on the big screen.
Woo! Who does?
It's
Bill?
gonna be Martha says Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Martha. It'll be 88 today, but 90s is coming late. Well, I missed that.
In North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been wearing pants and socks, and long sleeve shirts, and
pants are stupid.
It might get up to 70 today, or near 70, but.
Yep, I'm actually wearing jeans. Brought a jacket because I thought it would be chilly on the boat, but we're right in the sun, so it's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're here. The guy who owns this boat's actually down at, if you remember the church service we did. Last time we were up here, he's down at that church.
He owns a sound company. You put a new sound system in it.
Yeah, put a new sound system in, and so the next time we go there, we'll have if we do that again, have a nice sound system.
Those words still sound weird to me now at this stage of my life. Wait, remember that church service we did?
Yeah, that's weird for me as well. But yeah, so he's down there, so we snuck on his boat. He doesn't know we're here. And he's working, so he can't look at the YouTube. We'll erase this, so he won't know.
We were coming out of, so one of the big reason that we're there, that we came back, was G is doing a theater show here in Bangor. He's doing Rocky Horror, and he's playing bass in the pit. And as we were coming out of the theater a couple of nights ago, I was meaning to contact Neil and say, hey Neil, do you mind if we go hang out on your boat one day when we've got some time and we're in town? And I knew he'd say yes. And we're walking down the street in downtown Bangor, and we hear Galen, Allison, and it was Neil and his girlfriend in the cutest little candy apple red convertible going down the street.
It was very Neil.
And it was like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, hey.
Yeah. It's a very Neil thing.
And he's like, if you want to go down to the boat, here's the code, and here's all the information that you need. I'm like, you rock, Neil.
You're ruining the illusion that we're badasses.
Well, I'm sorry.
Bill Davis says socks are those things you put on your feet. They go in between your feet and the shoes, and they keep your feet warm when it's cold out.
I understand that as a southern mail carrier, you might not have encountered that.
I'm sure they wear socks.
A lot of people, oh my God, my voice is failing hard.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know, allergies in the morning. The first, like, I'm not used to the main things that irritate me anymore. And this is the worst season, always was the worst season for me when I lived here. So my body's just going like, ah. And I was taking Flonase for it, but then a friend of mine just had to go to the emergency room because of taking Flonase. And I'm like, well, come on.
Well, but you never have, so just take it.
I took a Benadryl. That'll do something eventually.
You read this, I can put my other glasses on.
Oh, well, you think I'm going to be able to read it? You'd be wrong.
Oh, you can use glasses, I just took them off.
Oh, I think I did bring my glasses.
Ugh.
Oh, nothing new. Nothing new.
Yeah, so that's us. That's what we're doing today. I've got a show today at 3. Got a matinee. So that's going to be, this is our first matinee of the show, so that'll be interesting because, it's just it's a hard rockin', sexually charged show.
Lots of lingerie.
So I don't know what kind of crowd we'll get on a Sunday afternoon, but it's always kind of interesting when you do those kind of shows and with the Sunday matinee people.
Because it tends to be an older crowd.
But you think the conservative people would be like at church?
Not at 2 in the afternoon, 2 and 3 in the afternoon, though.
Oh, what? No, okay.
Yeah, church is normally morning at night.
I don't know anything.
I think that's why they do the shows in the afternoon.
Don't they just go all? I thought they went like all day.
No, not the churches I went to, anyway. There probably are churches that do afternoon things, but I think most people, they have church somewhere between like 10 and 1, and then sometimes there's an evening service on Sundays for most churches anyway.
Okay.
But it does typically tend to be an older crowd there on Sunday afternoon versus going on Friday and Saturday night.
Also, it's Father's Day, so we're probably not going to get a big crowd.
Or some people might have gotten tickets for because it was Father's Day.
You never know. But
but this will be your 5th show that people could actually attend, right? Because you have pay what you will.
Yeah, because we have like 3 dress rehearsals that people can attend. And one's a pay what you will, and 2 are called previews.
It's a lower price.
Yeah, because things can change, and they do change. Oh my God, it's like we've been changing things right up until just before, and at one point, Phil actually did a change on the fly that he forgot to tell Tom.
The music director, he said, by the way.
That's the second night in a row he's done that. He's just got to look, because he's got a microphone. He can talk to us in our ears and nobody else can hear it, hopefully. And he's like, Tommy, do this, and blah, blah, blah. And Tom's like, oh okay.
Okay. Like right before the song started. We're going to do it like this instead.
That's funny.
No pressure.
But that's the kind of shit you do. It's a lot of fun. It can be challenging in ways, but it's a lot of fun.
And you guys are that pit is so good.
It's stacked.
Oh my God, it's stacked with just awesome people.
Even the young guy. We got a young guy, Harry, playing guitar. He's 20. Multi-instrumentalist. Super talented. And
been involved with theater stuff since he was a little kid. So he's like really
super attitude. And he's nailing it. So.
And he's fun to work with.
He's totally fun to work with. He's like literally been raised by us. Well, literally our MD is his dad. But I remember taking him up on a Mamma Mia. We took him up in the pit, and I plugged him into my ear thing so he could hear. Like, he sat in the pit for an entire show and just listened to what we hear in our in-ears, just so he could experience it. And that was, what, 7 or 8 years ago?
I was going to say, he was like a young teenager at that point.
Yeah. So he's always been into it.
So cool to see him expanding and, you know, having worked hard on his craft so that he can be in with these guys and doing what they're doing. That's awesome.
And we got Sonia playing saxophone.
And Sonia used to be in a band with us.
Sonia's, she has pretty much the only jazz gig around here now. And I guess she invited me to do a show with her.
Oh yeah, you got to get back to her.
After this show. So, well, I'm going to see her in a couple hours.
Yeah, true.
Sorry if it's noisy. Our lab mics died. So.
And we are right near the airport, so it seems like we're always near an airport.
We're downtown and in the flight path. We're not really near the airport, but definitely in the flight path.
Yep. Yeah, and the drummer is.
So I might have picked up a jazz gig. So that'll be interesting. I haven't played jazz in a while. So yeah, it'll be fun.
And then the other member of the band is Tommy, who's a longtime friend of ours, and we used to be in a rock band with him. And his wife is in the show, so it's like, you know, it's old home week. It's getting together with people that we absolutely adore and that we haven't done projects with for a long time. And I'm not doing the projects, but I'm hanging around.
Oh, you're playing every Friday night so there's a bar attached to the theater, and she's playing every Friday night at the bar. So after we get done the show, she starts playing, and it's
try to draw people in, have a cocktail and an appetizer after the show gets done.
So yeah, again, we kind of put together a nice little summer for ourselves of falling into shit and and things working out. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it has. And then we've got at least one Sail Bums gig at Nocturnum on July 19th. We've got a couple others that I'm talking to people about. We might wind up with 3 or 4 before we leave the area. But even if we don't, we will have had time with family and time doing a bunch of music and hanging out and enjoying being in Maine for the summer. We've already reconnected with a bunch of friends that have reached out to us that wanted to hang out.
Yep.
And it's good.
And if you're watching this and you want to hang out, let us know. A couple times ago, we decided that we're not going to chase people, and it's like we'll just be open to like getting together. So if you really want to get together with us, reach out, because it seems like every time we like try to chase people down, it was like nobody had time. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, okay, well, we're here.
And no pressure. And oh my gosh, didn't I feel badly last night? Somebody's like singing really, really loudly over there. Interesting. I think they're coming. I think they're walking this way singing. It's distracting me. Anyway, so last night they had the opening for the show. The Saturday night was the big opening, which is the first one that's not really kind of a preview or a dress rehearsal. Let's listen for a minute.
I'm hesitant to engage people because there's so many tweakers.
Unfortunately, Bangor has a drug problem.
Bangor has a big drug problem.
There are a lot of folks down on their luck, and a lot of, not to diminish anybody, but there's an issue. So
there's a big issue.
Every once in a while, you think you're safe engaging someone, and then they're just completely out of their minds. So it's we're just, if there's a chance you're giving off that vibe, we're just going to.
And that sucks, because that's what we're used to, and Bangor hasn't always been like that.
No.
And it's been usually a lot of fun, and it still is.
It still is.
You just have to.
You just know who to
There's
speak to
different
and who
rules
not
now.
to. Yeah.
And, it's unfortunate, but they'll figure it out.
Yep.
Hopefully.
So last night, as I was mentioning, was the actual opening, and they had like a little reception over at the stage door where I'm playing on Friday nights, and thanking the cast and everything. It was really nice. It was just had a little spread of food. And,
it was a good opening night.
And then we hadn't actually eaten, And so we decided to go down to Portland Pie, which was just, the next block over, and get a pizza. And it was, not that far before closing, but enough that we could go in and order.
Pizza at the PP.
That sounds horrible. Oh my God. So we walk into Portland Pie,
Name it.
and the place is pretty much empty. And there were two wait staff, two lovely young ladies.
Very excited.
And they were very excited to see us. Like, hi! Oh my gosh, hi! And we're like, well, hi! And
usually when restaurants
my God.
Usually when restaurants are like sparse like that is when you get the worst service, ironically. You usually
because they want to close up.
Yeah, they're just. But no, they were on us, all over us, and like just
all smiles.
I was like, damn, these ladies are trained well.
So we're there, and they're super friendly. And there was this one very very attractive, dark-haired young woman who was waiting on us directly, and she was just all smiles. And at some point, we'd been there for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. And I looked at Galen and I said, she really reminds me of a young Lori. And Lori's one of my closest friends up here. But we haven't seen her kids for a long time. And the last time I saw her daughter, her youngest daughter, she had a different hair color. And I feel like such an idiot. It was her daughter. And her mother is messaging me going, I'm not going to use her name on here, but she said, you basically, my daughter is your server. She's too embarrassed to tell you she doesn't think you recognize her. And I'm like, oh my God. And I yelled out to her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you. I literally just said, you look like your mom. And I still didn't make the connection, but we had just come from a big reception where I think I heard, so-and-so, don't you? Like 40 times, where like people are schmoozing and it's like, oh, you know George and all that. And my head was kind of full of
To be fair, it's not like we've hung out with her a lot.
Well, and especially in recent years, and she looks so grown up and she's so beautiful, and she's like in her 20s now.
Yeah,
and
she was a teenager before, so whenever she came in, it was that moody teenager. I'm not looking at you because you're my parents' friends.
Yeah,
and would walk upstairs.
Well,
so
I always get along with her wonderfully, but
she was, most of our exposure to her was in those teenage years when it was kind of like, I don't have nothing to do with you. But she is a very pleasant, delightful young woman.
She is fantastic, and she was so excited, like, oh my gosh, they're walking in. My parents' friends are walking in here, or my mom's friends, and so it was kind of funny. And I felt really badly that I didn't recognize her.
You shouldn't feel badly. Can't recognize everybody.
But kids change a lot in between like early teens and mid-20s. They often change a lot. Good grief. If you'd only seen Parker, our son, when he was like 13, and then you saw him now, you would never in a million years recognize him. He's got a big beard and everything. Except for the red hair.
Yeah, the red hair.
The red hair kind of gives him away a little bit. Yeah. And he sounds just like you.
If you got me or him on the phone, there's no way you could tell the difference.
Which still feels weird for me. In my head, he's this little tiny, redheaded, adorable kid. And he's still adorable, but he's like built like a Mack truck and has a full beard and sounds like Galen. It's like, when did you become this huge?
Oh, shit. It's not even on the YouTube thing.
Oh. What did you have it on?
What did I have it on? I just took it from you.
I didn't change anything. You just passed it to me and I read it. That's all.
No, there's all sorts of shit going on.
All right. Well, let's get on it then.
Get on it. Brad O'Brien.
Brad, thank you.
How are you on a boat?
So we are on our friend Neil's boat on the Bangor waterfront.
You in town, man?
If you're in town, come on down.
Come on down.
Seriously. We'll be here for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like the only sailboat on the Bangor waterfront.
We'll have a party on Neil's boat.
Neil would love that.
He actually would.
We'll send pictures. Brad came to my gig at Stage Door the other night, which I really appreciated. That was really nice. And actually, we had about 10 people that were there that had not gone to the show and came over just to see me at the bar, which was really nice. Nice. Hoping so next Friday, the 20th, is Pride Night at the theater. So that's the night that the Bangor Pride organization is encouraging everyone to go see Rocky Horror as a group from the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm going to be playing at Stage Door afterwards. So I'm hoping it's going to be just a massive blowout that night. A lot of fun.
Should be a blast.
Yep, I'm learning new songs just for that night, just to get the crowd going a little bit, as much as you can when it's just vocal and piano. It's like, I recognize that I'm not a rock band, but I can still do some fun stuff.
Oh, you don't need to be a rock band to get a crowd. You know that.
I know. It was really nice. One of the wait staff at the stage door that I just met here in the last couple weeks said she loved that I played a bunch of modern stuff, and she said a lot of times when we have people come in, it's all jazz, or it's very subdued, and she's like, you were like getting people going and doing some modern stuff and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be, well, it's only a paper moon. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, they have a jazz group that plays in there sometimes.
I did not know that.
Yep. I didn't know they do jazz, but I knew they had a duo that comes in there. And I'm sure they're absolutely delightful, and I love going to see jazz. I thoroughly enjoy it. But sometimes it's nice to, and it's not, I think a lot of times when you have a person doing vocal and piano, it is that kind of
We miss a jazz
music.
era here in
That
Bangor.
was fun. We used to be able to play
There was
jazz.
a time we could play jazz 3 or 4 nights a week, every week.
Easy.
It was just such a great scene. But, oh well, things come and go. That went.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I met a coffee shop owner in Bucksport. Excuse me. A couple weeks ago, I went down to see a friend play. Hi. And the owner, I recognized him immediately and said, you used to come see me play jazz on a regular basis, didn't you? And he's like, yes, over at the Hilton and at the Muddy Rudder. And I'm like, yeah, I recognized you immediately. He and his wife used to come see me all the time. And now he owns he's a retired surgeon from what's now Northern Light. And he just decided to retire and open a coffee shop, which is really cool. He's like, yeah, I like music. I bring acts in, interesting acts, and sell coffee and muffins.
Cool.
So our boat is in North Carolina under the wonderful care of our friends the Hambies, who are not on today. They're probably doing Father's Day things with his father.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, we were going to try to bring him in and do a side-by-side because we were actually in a cockpit.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard back from them, so they're probably tied up today. But we're incredibly grateful for them watching out for Molly Nogger, our boat. And it feels weird still to be away from her. But it's also it's been kind of refreshing having all the space where we're staying, and we can have all of our instruments all set up and just leave them there. That's a rarity.
That's the only difference, is not having to dig everything out every time I want to practice. And I practice a lot. It's like every day digging stuff in and out.
It's a hassle.
And I don't mind, it's fine, but now that I don't have to do that, I can just leave everything set up. It's like, oh, that's really cool.
Yep.
But,
And I'm not gonna lie, we had such a harrowing, difficult trip between Florida and North Carolina that I admit that I have kind of enjoyed a little break from the boat. I didn't think I would ever say that, but that doesn't mean I don't miss the things that I love about being on the boat, but I've been okay with a little break after what we went through.
I'm fine as long as I'm not out there in a fucking storm.
We went through 2 very big storms going from Florida to North Carolina. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's over now.
Yeah. Anything.
All right. What are you guys doing? Anything special for Father's Day, or anything special today at all? Something. Somebody said something.
I keep looking up because it's kind of low tide right now, and everything in Maine is floating docks because the tide differential is huge. So I'm looking, like if I look straight ahead, I'm looking at basically a seawall that's made out of metal that's probably 15 feet high, and above that is the walkway on the Bangor waterfront that everybody is walking by, and people, of course, are looking at the boats and looking at us and stuff. So I keep looking up and
Yeah,
seeing
the
people.
tide differential here is it's something we're not used to anymore. We were used to it, but with seeing the tides go up and down anywhere from 8 to 12 feet, depending on where you are.
That's a lot.
Sometimes more.
And that also means,
I
like,
forget what the tide range is in Bangor.
I can't remember exactly, but everything in Maine is about what you said in that range, versus being down in Florida where sometimes it's 2 or 3. And if you have like a full moon and stuff, it can get bigger. But here it's not uncommon. You always have like essentially a gangplate, where you walk down onto the floating docks from solid ground, and at high tide it's more even, and then at low tide you're walking down on a major angle. And I remember we did one gig in Rockland the last year we were up here on the boat. I think we came up for the summer of 2021 actually on the boat, and I wasn't sure we were going to get our gear back into the dinghy. Like, it was so steep, it was like a slide, and I'm like, I don't know if I can actually carry anything down here. We managed to do it, but it was awkward as heck, and it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Brett says the Bangor High graduation is at the Croft Center later today. Bill says he's getting ready to drive up to West Virginia, meet the sister, and pick up his mom. Tell her we said hi. They're going up tomorrow and coming back Wednesday. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, Brad, that's the graduation you were going to, right? If I remember. Did I get that right?
Maybe.
You either had just gone to or were going to your niece's.
There was one
graduation,
yesterday.
right?
We drove by and saw a bunch of people in
I think
caps and
that
gowns.
might have been you, Maine.
It might have been.
I saw blue. I don't know. The colors were like a light blue,
So probably you
like the
may.
humane colors.
But this
I
is
don't-
the season when they're all happening.
I think the college graduations would happen earlier than the high school graduation.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's probably a different school. I don't
Blue. Could that have been Hassan?
It was, again, a college.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's probably yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Used to be when I was up here, I got hired to do the national anthem at a bunch of those. It was always the season. I'd get the first phone call, and then I'd be like, "Oh, right, it's that time of year." And then I'd call them up. "Do you want me to do that again?" Cool. Make a little extra cash. I enjoyed that. My favorite was doing it for the Anna Temple Shrine Circus, though. I really liked that. The clowns would like circle me for me to do the national anthem and try to throw me off before I would start singing. I'd have my pitch in my head, and they knew I did, and they'd be like and like yelling stuff out right before we started. I'm like, "You guys suck, bonzo."
That's what clowns do.
Yep. They thought it was fun. It's only funny if you don't actually throw the person off.
Oh, they probably knew they wouldn't throw you off, so they were fucking around with you. If it was some like kid or something doing it, I'm sure they wouldn't.
Oh yeah. If it was like a teenage girl or something. Oh, the ducks are here. Hey guys.
Hi, ducks.
We were somewhere where
Yeah,
the ducks came
for
and
his
visited
niece.
us every day.
Yesterday was a party, and today is Pomp and Circumstance. I actually know Pomp and Circumstance on guitar for some reason. I use it as a warm up.
You do regularly.
Oh, my guitar's here.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Dean isn't on today.
Father's Day. Probably a bunch of people that are doing different things today. Oh, it feels nice to be on a boat.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
not gonna lie. He's pretty much got the waterfront to himself too. Normally
I know there's
it's not
nobody
a
down here.
it's not a huge dock. It's a big long floating dock, and normally there would be maybe 5 or 6 decent sized, not gigantic, but decent sized power boats lined up behind Neil, and Neil's always on this far end and the only sailboat. And this year it's just Neil and there's a pontoon boat at the other end, and that's it.
It's early,
The whole rest of the dock. Well, I mean, we're halfway through June. Most people should
I
have
know
their boats
there
for a
was years
while.
we never got into like around the beginning of July.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I forgot that middle section.
It's appropriate that you're wearing my father's hat today on Father's Day.
There we go. I don't know why I know that, but
You probably had to play it at some point.
now you don't have to go to graduation. You already heard it. There you go. You should have just brought her down here and marched up and down. There's a big long dock. She wants to march. She can march down the dock, and I'll play the.
Then she could just hang out on the boat.
Yeah, somebody said something. I missed it. Let's see. Oh, Dean, there he is. That's when he goes, sorry, I'm late.
I love it.
That's a riot.
We got to go up and see Dean and Val at their house too. He wanted you to look at some speakers that we got.
Yeah, that was interesting. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about that yet. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was exactly.
Can you help?
Good cat here stuck in my glasses.
I can't imagine where that came from.
Bill asked about the puss.
He's
He's having he is enjoying the extra room, running around, and
playing.
he was like playing a lot this morning. He's getting it's just in there now. He's had gotten into a habit of waking us up way too early and not being able to kind of self-soothe to get himself calmed back down. And he's kind of adamant about us getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4. But we've been kind of training him out of that. So like this morning he was fine. He came in, I told him to shut up, and he
did.
He did, and he.
I mean, you didn't actually say shut up, Joe.
I think I didn't.
No,
I
you
said be quiet.
Yeah,
No,
plus
that's
you need
the
to be
word.
quiet. But you said it
Quiet's-
sternly.
Quiet's the word.
And he was like, meow.
yeah,
What
he's
the-
gonna have the last word. So and he has like a couple of different modes of that. And the first one is kind of like, just kind of like, hey, oh, okay, all right. And then the other one is like, hey, fucking wake up! I'm a cat.
You should be attending to me. You guys have slept way too long.
What's he do the other day? He started doing that, and he started.
Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I was like, I've never heard him do that.
But I've heard other cats do it on the internet. Yeah, and it was really loud too. It was like after we didn't respond to him we were like trying to do almost like a baby, let him cry it out, and it's like he's just like row 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 row. And we both just started laughing in the middle of the night.
Here's the stupid fucking thing. One, have my sunglasses on, but these are clip-ons. I can just take this off and put that on here.
Oh,
Now I can have
look
my
at
reading
that.
glasses. And this problem is with these are polarized. I don't even. Why do they make polarized glasses anymore?
Well, I learned something.
I don't get it.
They're starting to make cell phones now so that it's not a problem, and so it doesn't really matter. I don't
Well,
know the science
They
behind
didn't
all
make
that.
mine
but-
like that, and it's a problem. They don't need to be polarized. There's no. I mean, okay, it makes the colors look a little bit cooler, and there's a little less glare on shit, but not a lot. It doesn't make a big difference. And like when you go in to get
Excuse me.
gas at the pump, you have to tilt your head sideways, and it's like everything with the screen on it. That it's impossible to read it unless you like at the perfect angle. Like even right now, I'm looking at that screen. I have to turn my head like this, to actually see it in color. So yeah, it's they can just stop making polarized lenses, and that would solve a lot of the world's issues. That's why we're at where we're at right now. Polarized glasses.
So I'm trying to think. When we get back to the boat, we should probably start making a list. There's a bunch of stuff that we need to do before we can take off from there.
Oh yeah.
One of them is replacing our swim platform that we lost in the storm.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah. I've got some woodwork I need to do, which folks were
According to the internet.
happy to bring up. It's like, oh, someone needs to attend to that wood. Yes, I know.
Oh my God! Shut up.
There are lots of mariners who actually prefer to just keep it the way it is right now. Like they let it gray out, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's not hurting the wood at all. Teak is designed to do that, but most people like to have a nice little brown hue to it. But it's old wood, so it's hard to maintain too. It doesn't have the same moisture content that newer wood has. It's a 40-year-old boat. 45-year-old boat now. It's a 1980.
Yeah. Brad was saying the same thing. He's reading charts on his iPad, and he could barely read them because of freaking polarized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Brad, do you have a real book I could borrow? Sonia asked me to do a jazz gig. Whether I think I'm going to take her up on it.
He's probably got it all on his iPad now.
I don't want. Yeah.
You used to have, didn't you have a whole bunch of the real books on your Kindle?
I have. If anybody wants real books, I have like all the Latin real books. Like I have the Brazilian real book. I have like the Latin real book. I have like a whole bunch of really obscure for this area real books that just have a shitload. And I have like the archived like the originals, like the original Berkeley real book with the mistakes in it and that the students did. That's how this whole thing started. And I've got a bunch of like kind of the 5th edition that was like the go-to in like the 80s and stuff like that. It's like I've got all these really cool real books. They're all on PDFs. So if anybody wants them, I'm happy to share them. I don't want to deal with. I don't have my iPad, and I don't have my Kindle, so I don't have anything.
I was gonna say it's all stored on your
and
Kindle.
I don't want. I've got a version on my phone too, and I know everybody uses the fake book and the iBook, and that disgusts me. But I have. I just want a paper fucking real book.
I use Fakebook. I use Fakebook. I don't know if I use it like other people use it. Of course, you can get on the fake book app, and you can call up a lot of jazz standards, and that's all fine. But then it also allows you to import songs. So for most of the stuff that I do solo, and I did this for a long time when we were playing together, and I used it for Rock Revelation and Hippie Soup too. It allows you to import an image. So I would do handwritten notes for a song that might just have, like, anybody that's played with me has seen this and been like, what the heck? But it works for me. I might just have the name of the song, a few of the chord progressions, and then it might have like the first words from each of the 3 verses, just to trigger me that, like, oh yeah, this one starts that way. And so it's just a few things on a page, but then I can make them so that I can reorder those images and just swipe through them for gigs. And that's how I use that. It's been really handy.
He does have a hard copy of the real book. Said I could use it.
Cool. Nice.
And something about you attending to wood.
Thank you.
It's old, less moisture content. Because Hamby's not on, so
somebody's got to do it.
somebody's got to say stuff like that. So we had a good opening night Saturday.
Crowd was off the
party. I
hook.
think you already covered that. But
We didn't talk about the crowd though. The crowd was like
the crowd was good Saturday, but actually Friday night the crowd was insane. Yeah, I thought they were. I don't know how far is too far, and according to the director, he's like, this is an experience, and he goes, there's no wrong thing. You know, we do our thing, we go on with the play, and they are, you know, because they'll do this to a screen just playing the movie too, right?
Yeah, they'll yell out.
They don't need us to interact with them. It's just fun to once in a while. But yeah, he was delighted with it because he's like you know.
I like your director too.
Matt's
a lot of fun.
awesome. The director, the whole team. There's no drama. It's all, except for, you know, it's drama, but there's
no infighting.
There's no drama and egos and all that stuff beyond, you know, normal. Yeah, it's just every once in a while you'll get like somebody in there that's just a total narcissist, and it just brings down the whole experience. And
This is a really good casting crew.
not this time. And I like our stage manager too. She's very upbeat and yeah, very, very positive. So.
And I sat with your costume designer for last night's show, and she's a hoot. She's just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And her costuming, oh my God. I mean, the costuming for the show is just so. I was telling her, I'm like, there's so many little nuances and choices that you made that made such a difference in how that's perceived from the audience. Because this is a very sexually charged show. There's a lot of places where there's cross-dressing, and there's a lot of lingerie and a lot of skimpy stuff and a lot of suggestive stuff, and yet they've got to sing and dance and move around and be on the ground and jump back up. And so there's a lot of strategy involved in making sure that, you know, they're not showing too much, but they're showing enough that it's suggestive and fun, but the people playing the parts are comfortable, and there's a lot that goes into that. It's crazy.
Yep. I do not need a stand, thank you. And I don't know how long we'll be chilling down here. We have a family picnic, and I have my matinee today. So, how long? Brad asked how long we'll be down here.
Oh, I don't really know. Just message us when you're done. I don't think we're in a hurry, but we probably will go get you some food before your show at some point.
Yeah.
And then we might just be at 2 feet or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, message us when you're out. And
Jesus.
yeah, that guy just went by and waked the heck out
Wake
of
the
us.
shit out of us.
He wasn't going that fast either, but it was one of those little speedboats that, like, even at a slow
Some of
speed.
some of those little boats, man, they throw a wake like disproportional to what they are.
He had a gigantic engine for his boat, so he was like up at an angle, digging in.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
It's
he
like-
was trying to go slow, though, I saw.
Well, there's a difference between, no wake and going slow aren't the same things. It's like if you go on a plane as fast as the boat will go, you will throw less wake than if you slow down and have your ass end buried in.
Well, especially if you slow down right next to somebody. That's the worst thing.
Well, the
you can do.
transition is even worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Either accelerating or decelerating.
A lot of people don't get that. We'll be on the ICW or something, the Intercoastal Waterway, and some huge yacht will come up that dwarfs us, and they'll come down off a plane and slow down right next to us. And I'm like, you just created like a freaking 8-foot wake for us by doing that. It's like,
Probably not 8
well,
foot,
maybe not 8 foot,
but
but big.
a lot bigger than if you just friggin' blown by us.
Yes.
But, whatever.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Yeah. What other boat projects do we have when we get back? We got the swim ladder.
Oh
we
my
got
God.
wood.
What time
There's
is
some
the
stuff.
matinee? I'm sorry. Go
There's
ahead.
some stuff with electrical that you've got to attend to that we discovered right before you left.
Around 5 o'clock, Brad. What was I gonna say? Oh, and I don't need that book today. If you're worried about getting that to me, I appreciate that. But if you just wanted to hang out, yeah, I'd love to see you.
I think
Although we do have a picnic to go to at 5, right?
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind if we brought a friend.
Oh no, Brad
I'll-
can hang out.
And also, I think we have time tonight too afterward because we won't be over at Katie and Travis's late because
Okay.
they're starting like at 3.
What was your question?
I was talking about boat projects and what we had when we
Oh,
come
Christ,
back. And I
that's
said,
a-
isn't there an electrical thing that we need to attend to that you discovered right before we left?
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. The electrical box that powers the cockpit, the power going to that is acting very strangely. So I just disconnected the fuse. I shut the whole thing off anyways, but I also disconnected that fuse so when I turned it back on, I wouldn't forget. There's something, yeah.
And when I say just before, I mean like we were loading the car and he discovered this and
Yeah.
and he's like, hang on, I gotta deal with this for a few
One
minutes.
of my cameras wasn't working, and I was like, why is my camera not working? Because there's like 2 systems that should be on. Even when I shut the main power off, there's 2 systems that are on. One is for the bilge pump and one is for the security cameras. And security camera went out. I'm like, what the fuck? So I got out my thing, tested the power to it, and I'm getting like 2 volts, 5 volts. Like, what the hell? And so I shut it down, turned it back on. I'm getting 12 volts again. Turned something on in that runs off that box, and it didn't go on, and the power shot down. Even then, I took the fuses out of everything in that fuse block, and it was still behaving erratically. So it wasn't a draw there. So I suspect that there was some sort of animal on board that chewed through the wire and caused a short somewhere between the fuse underneath here, on our boat, underneath here, and the box back there.
What kind of animal would have done something?
It's an animal that would be in the quarter berth a lot.
I can't imagine what animal would be on the boat that
have
could
access to
possibly have chewed through that.
Yeah. So that's a mystery.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll have to find that animal, I guess.
And do what?
Give him treats is what we normally do. He thinks he's
Yeah.
he thinks he's being Mr. Courteous boater, but he's waking the shit out of everybody.
That's okay.
Well, everybody's just us,
Hey,
really.
we're the only ones out here. There's a pontoon boat over there, but nobody's on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so we'll probably be in North Carolina for probably the better part of a month.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, getting stuff done
That's
there.
fine.
And
North
that's
Carolina's
fine.
great. I love North Carolina. And
Ooh,
here we
that's
go.
worse than last time.
Holy shit.
It's a big long floating dock, so it's all like in pieces going like this. Wow.
Yeah.
People always ask us why we prefer to be at anchor than on a dock, and this is really why. I mean, you get waked if you're at anchor as well, but I don't know, the boat just rides it better when you're stuck on a dock. There's like a lot of push-pull because you're pulling against, the things you're tied to, and that's moving, and it's just a lot worse movement on when you're at anchor. It's more just like, and we're moving.
Well, plus if you're not here and somebody really comes by and, obviously probably a 45-foot Cape Hatteras isn't going to come blasting up the Penobscot this far,
Probably not.
but if it does, it's going to kick the shit out of these boats along here.
Oh yeah.
So, and if so no reason why I just don't want to. I don't like being on a dock, which is good because we're talking about getting a catamaran. We're thinking about a catamaran.
We're
or
thinking
a couple
about it.
catamarans that we've been looking at, and
We definitely can't afford a couple of catamarans.
it's expensive to it's expensive for catamarans to be on a dock. So
Yeah, that's the downside. If we wind up going to a catamaran, we will be at docks even less than we are now because it's very expensive to keep a catamaran on dock.
but at the same time, the whole point of this move would be to better fit our lifestyle, and that fits our lifestyle, not being on a dock.
And there are other advantages, like you can anchor in more shallow areas that we can't currently on Molly.
Yeah, more places to anchor. Also, we put in the composting toilet and the water maker. We literally, the only time we'd ever have to go to a dock is to get food.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of the things to be, off the grid on Molly Knocker. We've got solar to an extent that as long as we're getting sunny days, I can pretty much cook all day. We can run everything. We've got refrigeration for food. We can be off grid for quite a while if I've got us stocked up on non-perishables. But the big thing is having a water maker so that you don't have to go fill up your water tanks or take jerry cans in all the time. That will seem like a luxury item to us after 5 years of doing that.
Yeah. And we can buy one for this, but we're just running out of room. One thing.
And the other thing is when we have a great toilet on Molly Knocker now, we've got an electric toilet, which again we've got enough solar to handle. Instead of having to do like the pump toilets. But if we got a catamaran, they have 2 bathrooms. So one of them, like Galen said, could be a composting. So right now, if we're at anchor and something goes wrong with our toilet or system around the toilet, he has to shut everything down, close the seatcocks, and we don't have a toilet while he's working on that. So he's got to get it all done like in a very short period of time, or we're having to go to shore and stuff. And if we had a catamaran and one of them was a composting toilet, if something went wrong with the regular plumbing one, we have a backup.
And it exempts us from forced pump outs.
Right.
It's like you haven't moved your boat in a week, and you haven't been you need there's one place where we every week or 10 days, you needed to show proof that you had a pump out or something. Where were we?
I can't remember. Well, I think Carolina Beach has that in writing. I don't think they were really policing it, but there are a lot of places that they have it written on their town websites that you have to be able to show proof that every week you had a pump out,
Yeah.
or you left the anchorage and went offshore 3 miles out or something.
But yeah, if you have a composting toilet, this
It negates it.
No, you don't need that.
Yeah, because if you didn't know, if you're not part of the boating community, why would you? There are some communities that have free pump out. Some of them even have boats that will come around to the anchorage. Stewart has that, Stewart, Florida. They'll come out every Monday and pump out your tank, your black water tank, which is fantastic. And for free, like it's part of a federal program to try to make our waterways cleaner.
Yeah, I don't know why more communities don't get involved in that.
Yep. Yeah, there's I don't know if they're still going to be available now with the politics where they are, but in the past they've had all these federal grants if a community wanted to make it so that, if they had certain parameters of having the boating community there, you could have a free service for people. But most marinas will do a pump out for free. There are some that are like $30. It's not like a huge expense, but and then if you go 3 miles offshore, you can discharge. So a lot of people like us will just be like, well, we're going to go for a sail and we'll, just take care of it then. But a lot of people don't move their boats that much, so they really rely on that pump out service.
Yep. Bill was saying she have his and her cats. But the cats almost are like, if you wanted to do that, it's like there's 2 different halls. So if you wanted to like have space away from each other, you could literally, like, one person could live in the starboard hall and the other one in the port hall.
The only downsides to that is that the kitchen's in one of the pontoons, so you kind of.
Oh, and one of them, the other one was in the
Oh, that's
common
true.
area.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. The one that we looked at more recently that was right in Portland, Maine, and we do really like it. Had 2 staterooms in the front of each of the pontoons, one on either side, and the beds were queen size, and it just one of the things that we're looking for. We have a V-berth in our current boat, and it's quite a thing when you have to crawl out in the middle of the night and use the bathroom, and you're basically swinging your legs over the other person's head, and we really wanted something where we could get in and out of bed without completely waking the other person up. And it's not. We'd love to have an aft cabin where you can actually walk around the bed, but in a catamaran that's
like
not
an
realistic.
island.
If we go with another monohull instead of a catamaran, that's a big one for me, is having one of those aft cabins.
Yeah.
But
It's not necessarily an aft cabin. It's just having the walk around island bed.
Yep, it just in a monohull.
And they do have those in catamarans.
Yep, they do.
They just don't have it in that catamaran because it's considered a smaller catamaran.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want a catamaran any bigger than that.
No.
To tell you the truth.
But the one that we were looking at had those staterooms in either pontoon in the front. They each had a bathroom. One was smaller than the other one. They each had a shower, but the one in the main cabin area was bigger.
Nicer.
The other one you had to actually walk through to get to one of the
You have to walk through the
bedrooms.
bathroom and the shower to get to the small bedroom.
That's right. Yep.
And which is more of a storage area anyways.
And oh my gosh, the drawer space. So our boat only has, there are 3 big drawers underneath the starboard settee that I use for that are storage. They each have a function, and then underneath the drawers there's enough space for an entire layer of canned goods underneath the drawers, the entire bench, which is awesome. And then we have 3 very, very small drawers in the V-berth area that's like kind of like where your clothes go and everything. And on this catamaran, there must have been, 15-ish big, wide drawers that you can shut and lock in place, and just, oh my gosh, so much drawer space all throughout that boat. It blew my mind. Plus way more closet space than what we have now. I was really impressed with the storage on that boat.
Yeah.
And a huge refrigerator and freezer combo that's built right in with, big, panel doors that open up from the top. And
Well, to be fair, it's a bigger, much more expensive boat.
Yes,
That's-
yes.
That's why.
Yep. It is. And And the other thing that we've struggled with a little bit is that I think originally I was thinking there's no way we could sell Molly. We'd have to bring Molly up to Maine and have it be like our main boat. So like if we came up for the summertime, we live on Molly while we're up
I
here.
mean, we can try that, but the thing is, I don't want to come up to Maine every summer. And
Not for the whole summer, yeah.
And like if we're just coming up for a couple of weeks, we're not going to go through the expense of launching her
No.
and all of that stuff. Maybe we can find somebody to kind of like, hey, you launch her and take her in and store it, and we'll like kind of split, as long as we're on her for a couple of weeks, out of the year, or whenever we're up here we get to use her. I don't know, working out a deal like that. But I mean, realistically, I just don't want her to sit in a boatyard. That's not going to happen.
We know, it's a fact. I mean, we've had, this is our third boat, and the one, not what we're sitting on, but Mollynaugher, and we know that when boats sit on the hard, on land for a period of time, it's almost like they lose their souls. They just start deteriorating and rotting in weird ways. I don't understand it completely, but it's different than when they're in the water. It just is.
Especially old boats, because they can just go downhill so fast.
Yeah, and we don't want that to happen to her. I would rather sell her to someone to use seasonally, and they really wanted to do that, than have her just sit on the hard and potentially not be used. She was sitting on the hard unattended to for 5 years before we bought her, ish. We don't know exactly how long, but she needed a lot of work. She lost a lot from being on land.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen to her again.
All right. So it's 12 o'clock now.
Anybody say anything?
Not recently.
No. We got boring.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm okay with just hanging out on the boat and relaxing a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Hang out for a little while, and then we'll. What do you want to do? Some noontime?
You probably want to get some food before you have to go to your call, because you're not going to get a chance to eat until after 5:30.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't have to have the big lunch. I can have just something small.
It's up to you, man. Yeah. So thanks to Neil for letting us hang out in his cockpit. I doubt that this will be the only time we do this. We probably might just do it every single time.
Probably. We just need to be on a boat every once in a while. Which blows his mind. He's like, you guys live on a boat. Why would you want to be on a boat? It's like, because that's what, we don't live on a boat because we hate being on boats.
No, we're living on the boat because we want to be there. So when we're away from her, it's been 3 weeks we've been away from her, and this is going to be the longest that we have been away from Mollynaugher since we moved on to her.
Yep.
We did 1 3-week trip up to Maine last year, and that seemed like forever, and we're going to be up here for like 2.5 months this time. So.
Yeah.
But at least it's during the good part of the year. Before we came up, last time we came up in the winter time, and we're like, oh, why did we do this?
No, that 3 weeks was in the summer.
It was fall. It was, yeah, that's right. It was we came back in September. You're right. Yep.
Ish, yeah.
Yep.
Summer-ish.
Yeah. It wasn't the dead of winter.
Was though, yeah.
The last time was dead of winter.
Christ.
Yep.
That was awful.
Yep. And then you had to go back up right afterward too for a family matter. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Lucky you. You get to experience it twice in one winter.
Yeah, that was awesome. What he uses wood.
I'll ask him.
Looks like Valspar or something.
Yeah, it looks like actual.
Poly.
Shoot. I'm gonna say. No, it does have shine to it. I was gonna say matte finish varnish, but I think it's regular varnish, but it's just worn a little bit.
If I know Neil, it's probably just. Might be Epiphanes, but it's probably
Could be helmsman. I mean, this looks like helmsman.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's probably
Yeah.
just helmsman.
Which I'm still I know, I told you to smack me if I ever said I wanted to use Helmsman again, but I used Helmsman on a few things on the boat that have, if I have kept up with them, they have lasted wonderfully.
Well, yeah, it's the thing is keeping up with it.
And
We
we couldn't keep up with it because we were in horrible conditions that kept me from doing the wood one season where it really had to get done, and then it all got cracked and I had to strip the whole thing again. But if we're going to be in a position to be able to maintain it, maybe I should go back to that because it does look really nice and it's cheap.
not a fan of the slippery wood though.
I do like, we have this combing that goes all the way around the cockpit that's really wide, and we step and sit on it all the time, and it is nice to have it not be slippery. I'm probably just going to oil it again.
Why don't you just try that stuff that you bought? You liked it enough at one point to buy it, so
I did, but then I heard from other people that it gets soft, and then you wind up having to strip it again. I don't want to have to do that. I'll do a test area before I do the whole thing. I'll do a test area. We're going to be there for a little bit, so
yeah,
I can afford to.
put it on that back rail.
Yeah, I was just thinking I'll put it on that back rail that's a smaller piece and see how it seems to react in a couple of weeks, and then if I like it, I'll use it all the way around. I don't know. There's so many choices. You'd think it would just be like one thing. Like, you're going to varnish your wood on your boat, right? No. There's like 8 choices of how you could do that wood.
Oh yeah.
So many different methods, and everyone has an opinion and will tell you this is the only one that you should use, and here's why. And the truth is, there's so many factors depending on like how often you want to have to deal with it, what climate you're in, how much direct sunlight is it going to get, what's the temperature like where you're at, how much rain do you get. I mean, there's so many factors that carry over, and some of them wear in very different ways. Some of them turn yellow after a while if you don't attend to them. It's not an easy decision.
Ever want to get turned off from sailing? Go read a sailing forum. Oh my God.
No, you can't do it that way. This
People
is the only
with
way to do it.
fucking opinions. And most of them are wrong. Most of them are just, it's like for one specific application, and they just try to apply it to everything. And it's like, oh my God. Or they heard it from some guy that they admire and like, so it's got to be true. And, you know, it's just some old curmudgeon like myself spouting off one night, and the guy was like, oh, that's the gospel now.
All best intentions. Yeah, we hear a lot of, no, I've got this buddy and he's brilliant, and he like it, and you know, come to find out the guy like owned a boat for a year. You know, it's like nobody's an expert in everything. I'm certainly not.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time working on wood. Oh my gosh. And I've had it looking amazing at different points, but that's one of my hard decisions before we head back, is what am I going to do with that wood?
Yeah.
It's getting very thin. It used to be like, you know, quite thick, and over all the times that it's been refinished, it's now like that thick. So I don't have a lot of room if I have to strip it again and sand it at all. So it's a hard decision.
Yeah, you're not, whatever you do, if you put like a lacquer or something on it that's gonna like harden, that's the last time that gets done.
Yeah, it's got to be that way. It's got to be maintained with that.
You're already like down to the screws.
Yep.
And in fact, like some of the screws are like sanded halfway through. The screws are sanded down.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's done.
Yep, I can't take it down anymore.
That's why I'm like hesitant to be like to suggest that you do that.
But that's also, see, that almost makes me want to do it more, because it would add a layer of protection over it.
Well, that's the reason why we did it originally, but look how that worked out for us. It wasn't protection. We ended up having to take even more wood off.
But again, that happened because we were stuck in Cape May in the wintertime.
Yeah, I know, but things happen, and that's what happened. We didn't expect that to happen. We're not expecting it to happen again, but shit happens, man.
Mm-hmm.
If we are looking at selling it, maybe we do that.
That's the other thing.
I don't know, but we're not going to sell that for what it's worth to us.
Oh no,
No. Yeah,
it's an older
the
boat.
only reason I want to sell it is because I don't ever want to give a boat away, because when you give a boat away, people don't see the value in
Right.
it, and they'll just stick it at anchor or on the hard someplace and just forget about it.
Honestly,
It's like I want them to say, "Oh shit, I've invested like $20,000 in this, so I better take care of it."
I was actually thinking the other day, and I've seen our boat for sale before, and most of the time we see them advertised for 40,000 or under.
Oh yeah, they're way under.
Honestly, we'd probably wind up selling it for about what our down payment on another boat would be.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, and that's fine.
And that's fine. And we got her for a prayer. I had less than $10,000 saved up, and we told the guy, I'm like, this is what we have, and he's like, he was all insulted with our offer, and I'm like, it's what we have, take it or leave it. And in the end he took it. So if you consider that, we bought our home for under $10,000, and we've lived on her for 5 years.
Yeah.
We put a lot more money into the boat,
We put way more money into that boat than we bought her for.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to sign off and get to some. I don't even know what we're doing.
I have no idea what we're doing right now.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Seemed like there was something I wanted to go shopping for.
Let's see. I know you eventually need some new reading glasses.
Oh, we could go pick up my strings or Randy's.
Yep, we could do that. Oh, we might not be open. Father's Day and a Sunday. We might not.
Shit. I'm not gonna message him either.
No.
He'll open up.
Yeah, he'll open for you. We'll just go over it this week. Go over like Tuesday.
Hey Brad, want to take another trip over to Sticks, Picks, and Strings with me?
He's probably at the
Just-
graduation at this point.
No, not today. Some point this week.
No, I meant Brad's probably at the graduation.
He's on here watching.
Oh, is he?
Talking to him.
Oh, okay.
He's messaging us.
All right.
Yeah. Get that. I gotta pick up. I'm gonna buy a guitar case off him too. Every time I walk in there, though, get closer and closer to buying that Gretsch.
You do
I'm
not need
gonna,
two
I know,
Gretchens.
I'm not going to.
You don't need two Gretchen guitars.
I'm
Let me
not-
put it that way.
I'm not going to. I already have 3 Gretchens.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna buy another. But this one's a hollow body, and it's blue, and it's really. Brad said it looked nice on me.
Thanks, Brad. No, it did look nice on you.
Yeah. Micropene.
That funky metal mandolin was pretty cool too.
Yeah. He posted that. He shared our Sail Bums post on his page, and people were like, "Let's hear it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play the 2 fucking chords I know on mandolin."
You
That'll
used
be
to
a
play
jam.
mandolin. He brought a chord chart out for you.
He
I
brought
love
a
it.
chord chart up, so
He's
I
like,
do.
hang on, I got
know
a
3
chord
chords
chart.
now, because I remember the C. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
All you need is 3 chords and the truth.
Yeah, 3 chords in the same key, ish. Yeah, I got my 3 chords: C, G, and what was it? D, I think.
C, G, and D.
Yeah. Was it C, G, and D? I think so. C, G, and D. Yeah. Yeah. So got Brown Eyed Girl. Oh no, there's E minor in there.
Yeah.
I'll just play the G, and somebody can play an E on the bass.
Well,
and
see if you
that's-
can learn A. You can
that's
do a
E
lot more than
minor.
that.
Well, yeah, because that's just I can bar that.
Well, there you go.
See, the thing is,
you get a
once
1, 4,
you
5.
learn,
You can play.
once you learn, 1, 4, 5 and cowboy chords, if you can bar them, you can just move that all around.
Or F. Learn F or A, and then you get 145.
I've got 145. G, C, D.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I just need the 6, the E minor. But like I said, yeah, you play an E on the bass, and I'll play the G, and nobody will know the difference.
Yep. Sure. Lots of songs.
Yeah.
Lots of families out walking with their kids, and they're all looking at the sailboat. That's a sailboat. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm ready for jazz night. Bring the chord chart and the mandolin to jazz night. It's Sonia's.
Really?
Yeah. She'll love that.
Yeah, buddy. What?
Part of my train. You're the train, man.
That's right. Hey, there they are.
Who's that? The Hambies?
Yeah.
They're finally on?
Yeah.
What?
They're writing in all caps too, so they're very excited.
He's probably been
Sorry
messaging
we
me.
were
But...
late, and not Molly. Late night, didn't get home till almost 5 a.m.
Ooh, that sounds like a good night.
3 chords in this riff. Filling in later turned into a ship show.
A ship show?
A ship show.
Well, I like a good ship show.
I'm sure it wasn't ship show that he meant to write. A ship show.
A ship
Let
show.
me show you my ship.
Yeah, so Hambies and anyone else who joined late, we're sitting on our friend Neil's boat. And Neil's down in Castine
we should've
with
fucked.
friends of ours.
We should have fucked with Mike and told him we were on Molly.
Oh my God. Where are you? He
Yeah.
would have known the difference.
We came back.
Yeah.
It would have taken him a second.
It is the same color
I
Dodger,
would have
though.
hidden that with my head. I hidden that port.
Yep.
Yeah, because we don't have that.
We don't have the little windows.
Yeah.
But it is the same color Dodger.
Yeah.
That might have thrown him for a second. But yeah, we're right on the Bangor waterfront. The only sailboat down here. Neil's kept it here for, gosh, 15 years or more.
He's just,
Every summer.
He's one of these guys that just, I mean, what a setup, right?
Oh,
he
yeah.
just falls into this stuff. It's great.
We're like that too.
We
though.
are like
we fall
that.
into a lot of stuff.
We
where
fall
it's
into
just
a
like,
lot of stuff. Like using people's stuff who fall into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, it's things like we're going over to my cousin Travis's and his wife Katie. They're having a barbecue today. The last time we were up together, they went on vacation and said, "Yeah, why don't you guys just stay at our house?" And we had their whole house to ourselves.
God, I love their
Oh my God,
house.
that was so awesome.
Their house is so awesome. And the thing is, it's just like a ranch house. It's a raised, your typical, like the kind of thing like back in the 80s and 90s, I would have scoffed, it's like, it's one of those raised ranch fucking things. And it is awesome. They have set that up so nice. It is so cool. It is like one of my favorite houses. I can't even explain it.
And it's a house I'm really familiar with. Like I've been in and out of that house since I was a little kid because it belonged to his grandmother, and then he purchased it. And what they've done with it is just fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible. And
So
it's nothing fancy. It's
No.
just everything is just cool.
and very well thought out.
Yeah.
And they love having people stay there, and even like there are areas of their bathroom that are set up with all sorts of, like, she's put together little bags of like guest toothbrushes and razors and stuff, so you can just go grab whatever you need. I love it.
We have no talent for setting up like living spaces like that. And it's just the way it is. We have other areas of expertise. They have nailed that, and I want them to I want to hire them to consult wherever we live. Okay, what do we need?
Yeah,
What do we need to do?
He actually even just said the other day, if we do get that catamaran, let's bring in Travis and Katie and have them tell us how we need to set it up.
Yeah. And we know nothing about boats. Don't care. It's like if you were living, if this is your apartment or house,
What would you do?
What would you do? What What would you want to have happen here? And Susie, I want to have her come in and
Decorate.
do the lightings and decorations. Yeah, the lighting especially. Yeah, she is like a little lighting expert as far as like knowing what to set a mood.
And our friend Susie has lived on both sailboats and power boats. They currently have a house for the first time in a very long time. And she also gets the whole, like, how to make it work in a boat when it comes to having things be powered or solar or whatever the case may be. I think the tide is going up.
Oh, it's definitely going up. Getting closer to the walkway.
Yeah, I was like, yep, it's definitely getting.
Pretty soon we'll be eye level.
Yeah, I was like this with people. Now I'm like that with people. There's a walkway. We're on the Bangor waterfront, and there's a big, long walking path that's right next to where the dock is. So when we first got here, I was like, hi. And we're only, so if you went behind us to the other side of the river, in less than a 2-minute walk, you could be at our old house. So we lived right across this river on the other side in Brewer for 18 years in a little tiny house. Not as tiny as what we live in now, but it was 998 square feet.
You said Bangor or Asteen? Yeah. We're in Bangor. The guy who owns the boat's in Castine.
Yeah, Neil.
I don't know if you forgot the C or omitted it purposely.
Neil, who owns the boat that we're on, he's that guy that first took us out and sold us on sailing. And it wasn't this actual boat, but it was the same model boat, a Catalina 30 that he took us out on. Neil owns a sound company, and he's down first day with a new sound system that he put in our friend's church that we did the broadcast from, last year we were here. I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, our friends, the DeBecks, are at the church in Castine that he is putting a brand new sound system in, and today is the day they're using it for the first time, and he's down there like tweaking everything.
It was winter. It was when we came
That's
up
right.
in winter.
Yep.
Because I got off the plane. My cousin Joe picked me up in his cab, took me to a rehearsal, like right off the plane. Went from rehearsal into the car and drove down to Castine to spend the night there to get up early in the morning and do that church.
And it was right around
show.
the holidays, yeah.
And yeah, so that was insane. It's like literally hit the ground running. And yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was a whirlwind trip.
No, we were only up for a little while. We had a lot of stuff to do.
All very cool stuff.
Yep.
I actually have known Neil for a long time. Neil is a long-time radio engineer, and way back in my early days of doing radio, when I was in my late teens and early 20s, he was the engineer for like half the radio stations in this area. So I knew him from way back then.
Yeah. Neil's good shit. I like him.
Yep. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right. So we're going to say our goodbyes. Those of you that came on at the last minute, so sorry that you didn't hear the whole thing. It wasn't really that fascinating. But we are going to go do a few things. Oh, no, I thought that pontoon boat took off, but it's a different one. We're going to go take off and do a few errands and maybe get you some food before your call. And then he's got a show this afternoon. And
yeah, we're going to knock out another Rocky show, and that's going to be fun.
I don't know. And if you are local to Bangor, I'm playing Friday night at the Stage Door right after Rocky ends. It winds up being about 9 to 11. So I'll be there doing a solo show after he does the Rocky show on Friday night. So even if you didn't come to the theater show, you can still come over to Stage Door and see me play later in the evening.
All right. Have a good Sunday, guys. See ya.
Bye.